Hello and welcome to Business Matters. I'm John Bithry. Coming up on the programme, a rough ride for global stock markets. We ask what's behind the gloom. Also, we head to California to find out what they make of a ban on plastic bags. And why is Barbie's charm waning?
These old applications of what beauty is, what stardom is, etc., are gone. And so I think that Barbie seems part of an older time.
And now, she is perhaps the most famous all-American girl in history.
Barbie, you're beautiful. You make me feel my Barbie doll is really real.
But Barbie's the doll with lots of friends of her own. They're Stacy and Christy.
What's playing at the cinema? Shall we go?
Barbie! I just moved into my newest, biggest dream house ever. Open it up. It's huge. 3 floors. Life in the dream house.
Barbie, though, is not as attractive as she once was, it seems. Her maker Mattel has just revealed her recent decline is accelerating. Global sales of Barbie dolls fell by a fifth in the last 3 months alone, and it's a trend that's been going on for several years. So what is going on? I asked New York toy industry consultant Richard Gottlieb.
I think that Barbie struggles with forces beyond her control, and that is a global marketplace and a United States that is multiracial, and multiracial in the terms of there's a lot of pride in individual cultures and being who you are and individuality. So Barbie, who is in her DNA essentially a blonde Southern California girl, struggles a little bit today, I believe, with girls who are not blonde or Caucasian. They don't see themselves in Barbie. So I think the struggle is as these girls look to other iconic figures, other dolls, other totems that reflect who they are, I think she struggles.
Is it also perhaps that parents don't necessarily want to go out and buy Barbie dolls for their children because of what she has stood for, perhaps over the decades? Mothers who may not view her as a good role model for their daughters anymore.
I find mothers have a very complex relationship with Barbie. They're nostalgic for her. Many of them had her as children. They love the experience. And as adults, they see her now through a different lens. I don't think most children really see Barbie the way their parents do. I don't think that they see her as hypersexualized or that they are concerned about her professional choices. I think they're just having fun. But the parents do. So I think there is some complexity in that.
Barbie has tried to evolve with the times, though, hasn't she?
Well, Barbie is an important cultural icon in the West and in the world. I think that her importance is relevant to her power as a symbol of femininity. But in doing so, she's so Barbie that in her eyes, she's so iconically powerful that when she's supposed to be a doctor, you kind of think to yourself, well, that's Barbie being a doctor. She's too iconic to get past who she is. She's an American girl in the most essential sense.
There are plenty of all-American products and goods, and I mean the way so many goods and toys are marketed is all about the stars and stripes and the right way to look, the right way to dress, the right way to be an American. Surely she fits right into that still.
Oh, she does. She does. And I think that she's going to do fine with people who see Americans that way. But I think the image of America, we have a black president, we have a black first lady. And so I think that these old applications of what beauty is, what stardom is, et cetera, are gone. And so I think that the Barbie seems in that sense part of an older time.
Has Barbie ever had any serious competition over the decades that she's been with us?
Yes, she has. Barbie just really ruled the field until a product line called Bratz from MGA came along. And Bratz was an extremely interesting product in that the gentleman who created the Bratz line wanted to produce a doll that wasn't blonde. He felt there was a shortage of dolls that were not blonde. And so the dolls that he created, or his company created, were extremely interesting, and to me at least, in that they were racially ambiguous, but they were purposefully so. The hair on these dolls looked Asian. The complexion appeared to be Hispanic. The eyes were Caucasian. The lips were large. They were African American. So a child, and they became wildly popular. And I believe one of the reasons was that that doll looked a little bit like everybody because she looked like nobody.
Richard Gottlieb there. Well, let's bring my guest back in here, Vicky Mohideen in Beijing, Peter Morisi in Washington. Vicky, did you have a Barbie doll or dolls when you were growing up?
Yeah, I did. I have to say that we sometimes preferred Cindy because you could take her head off and put it on another body. I don't know why that was so important.
Yeah, it's certainly a question. I asked Richard about Cindy. Didn't sound like Cindy really made it across the Atlantic. Very much a British, perhaps European product. But yes, definitely British produced. But yeah, I mean, they were in close competition here, weren't they?
Definitely for a while, but then I do Cindy disappear, didn't she? They made her more like Barbie. She had a really sort of chubby face and the heads that you could remove. And then I do remember they made her more like Barbie and she looked the same and you couldn't remove the head anymore. Or rather you could, as I'm sure many women my age will attest to, but then you would just end up with heads and bodies that you couldn't put back together again, which possibly might have given our parents cause to worry.
Well, yes, indeed. Yeah, I guess that would be one issue one of many issues that parents have to worry about, I guess, when you're sort of destroying your toys. Are you sad to see, I mean, if Barbie is in perpetual decline, is that a sad thing?
Oh, no, I mean, I'm struggling to care really about Barbie in general, but it's more because I'm a grown-up lady. I don't have that, I agree, I think, in some respects to what was said there about the fact that it's parents who are putting these values onto Barbie and that when you're a child, you don't. I mean, I've grown up, I think, to be a fairly strong feminist lady who has a job and doesn't go, oh, gee, my dream house opens all the way up. But I played with Barbie all the time. But we also played with, we had a huge case of He-Men figures at my grandma's house. And so, Barbie was playing along with
Master of the Universe.
Whose head. Yeah, exactly. And we had all of them. We had the Castle and Skeletor and, it was great. And maybe there'd be a big Snoopy doll that would come in and play too. And you play with these things and they're important to you for a while, but I don't necessarily subscribe to the view that she was that important to me growing up. And I'm sure for some people, but personally, I have to say no.
No, I suppose one of the other issues is that this sort of idea that particular genders should have particular toys or particular dolls. Peter Morisi, Barbie.
Well, Barbie is suffering from all the issues.
Have an opinion, Peter. Go on, yeah.
Well, the other thing that Barbie's suffering from is the computer and technology and so forth. Little girls, I had a little girl, and we had dolls and so forth. We had American Girl dolls. They have a much briefer window when they use these things now because they grow to maturity more rapidly. And almost immediately there's competition from these devices which provide other forms of fantasy and play that material toys do not. I had the same phenomena with my son. He played with less of the kinds of hands-on toys from the very beginning because when he came along, the Windows was already there. So my feeling is that there's a lot of factors at play. I do think that feminists have over-intellectualized Barbie. I realize that to an adult, she looks like an extreme character, sort of like what Grace Kelly would have been like as a girl. And that is disturbing. But I do agree from watching my younger sister, who was 12 years my junior, so I have some perspective, and my daughter, that they don't project all these things onto dolls, and they just play with them. And then when they become 12 and 13 and 14, they start to look at the broader world and bigger issues.
Yeah, and they want something else. They want new toys.
They want lives.
They want lives. Peter Morisi, thank you very much for your contributions on Barbie and Vicky Mohideen as well in Beijing. It's been great to have you both on the programme today. Don't forget, you can get a podcast of Business Matters. Go online, search for BBC Business Matters. We go out at midnight GMT every evening, Tuesday to Saturday. And you can also get us as a breakfast time podcast if you're listening elsewhere in the world. Bye-bye for now.